It's time for our local business review, and we've got some fun stuff to talk about today. If you like coffee, are you a coffee drinker? I mean, I guess I don't know who isn't a coffee drinker. That's more like the question. Wendy Hendricks is here. I'm coughing now, Wendy. Sorry about that. She's from Agency North Real Estate. She joins me every Wednesday.
Good morning.
And you've brought a special guest with us today who is going to talk all about our first ever Cloud Coffee Festival.
Yes, I'm so excited to have Guy here from Kinder Coffee.
Yay,
I'm the top fan on their Facebook page.
You're the top fan, like the number one?
Well, I am a top fan.
Thanks, Wendy.
I wouldn't doubt if she's number one.
Right. Absolutely.
She's like the super fan of all business here in St. Cloud. This is exciting. As you said, we always hear, Wendy was saying, we always hear like the breweries they work together.
Mm-hmm.
But the coffee shops, this is a big place for coffee. We love our coffee in St. Cloud.
We sure do.
Minnesota, right?
We sure do.
So, Guy, tell me, what was the idea behind the Cloud Coffee Festival? When did this come up?
So Kinder is about 2.5 years old, and we've been thinking about doing something like this for, ever since we started.
Yeah.
But, it just takes time for a business to kind of like get to a spot where it can actually tackle something like that. So in the last 6 months, we really started thinking about what we could do for the coffee community here, which is growing a lot, which is really fun and really incredible. And so we just started thinking about how to bring all the different coffee shops and coffee roasters together, kind of in one place, and kind of make a splash for local Central Minnesota coffee.
It's kind of fun when I go out. I'll go to an ice cream shop over in St. Joe, and I see Kinder Coffee being served here. I'm like, it's Kinder Coffee. So that tells me that you guys are getting your word out. You're talking with local businesses and serving in places where people can really taste the coffee.
Yeah.
So, okay, when is Cloud Coffee Fest coming?
So it is on Saturday, the 24th of September. So that's about 2.5 weeks away. So it's coming up real quick. Okay. And we'll run from about 8 to noon. And there's going to be all kinds of fun activities. Obviously, all of the different shops are going to kind of bring their different wares and their things. There's going to be, beans. You could, like, some of the roasters will have beans, and there'll be people selling coffee. And then we're just going to have some fun activities too. Okay. We're going to have stuff for kids. There's going to be a bounce house. So, kind of a family friendly event.
Now, is this happening at Kinder Coffee?
It's happening adjacent to Kinder. We have a big parking lot there. Okay. And so we're going to have that all opened up, and everybody's going to be in a tent. Kinder will be there. It's going to be really, really fun.
Can you imagine? No one's going to be able to sleep for the whole, for a whole week.
Right.
If we're drinking coffee for
highly caffeinated.
Everyone will be happy.
Yeah.
Are you like a coffee connoisseur? Like, can you taste, you get the coffee at your house, right? Like, people can get Kinder Coffee. Like, can they get it delivered to their house, or do you have to come pick it up?
Yeah.
Can it be like a subscription program?
Yeah. Kinder started as an online subscription service. So it started at the beginning of COVID. And so the goal was, how do we get coffee to people? And people were at home. And so we actually started the roaster as a subscription service, and still have that and run that. And
so people do that. They want the coffee at home. It's super fun. They get it delivered.
Yep.
Do they get to try different kinds? Do you send them different varieties every month? Or what?
Yeah, so kind of depending on what you pick. Some people really know what they like, right? And so they don't want variety. Sure. They want, for that morning ritual, I want, my exact light roast or dark roast every morning. And so... But one of the things you can do is you can do, like a variety pack, or you can actually subscribe for our seasonal. And so that changes. And so, every few months, it's a different coffee that comes.
So I do have a question.
Let's hear it.
People ask that question. They like to try coffee from all different kinds of places, right? I was out in Portland. I visited Ann and Amy out there like a month ago. And
from Princeton.
We brought home some, Portland coffee. It was really different. It was almost like made with pinto beans. I've never had it. It was a very light roast, and it was called Hairbender. I thought it was going to be like really dark. I bought it for Darren because my boyfriend loves dark coffee.
Sure.
And I was like, this is not Hairbender. This is not appropriately named for Minnesotans.
Sure.
But for you, like when you come up with your different ideas, tell people why they would want a Minnesota coffee. Good question, right?
Yeah. I think what I would say is, the thing that sits over top of this entire conversation is, when it comes to coffee or beer or anything, you should just drink it how you like it, right? Yeah. Like, don't let someone kind of like pressure you into like trying to drink something that you don't like. If you put cream and sugar in your coffee, great, you should do that. But if you want to take kind of some steps forward in your coffee journey, the easiest and best thing that you can do is to drink freshly roasted beans that you grind right before you drink them. So if you want to pursue, learning more about coffee culture, it's the best and easiest thing you could do. So if that's what you're wanting to do, then local is the best option, because we're roasting our beans, and then they ship out that week. So you're drinking like when it gets to your house, sometimes it's days old.
Yeah.
The beans are days old, and when you're buying stuff in a grocery store, you're dealing with stuff that's a lot older than that.
Sure.
So if you like
Coburn's-
fresh,
But
If you like
Coburn's
fresh.
does have your beans, so you can actually buy the beans at
That's
Coburn's.
neat.
Yeah.
So they have them there too.
Yeah.
Or at Kinder Coffee through the drive-through.
Yeah. It's just kind of a really neat culture. It's
It
like
is,
it's really taking off and it's fun. I mean, you can get if you're somebody who likes to explore the flavors, right? Just like, people who love bourbon, they want to explore the different flavors of bourbon, or they want to explore they go to the breweries and they do the little taste testers.
Flights.
The flights. Right? Can you do flights of coffee?
we don't have we don't have anything quite like that yet, but it's a fantastic idea. We just kind
Right.
of need to build the system to make that work.
That would be fun.
Another thing that I love what they are doing, I'm all about local business. So
Yeah.
recently he had a mini donut latte.
Oh, yummy.
Mini donut, was that what it was called? Mini donut latte. So I went through the drive-through and they had mini donuts that Byerly's,
Yeah.
I think special ordered for them. And I was like, why go to the state fair or get this on the way to the state fair? But he collaborates with other local businesses.
I
And
like
now, drum roll, what do you have for fall?
Well, it's September, so you have to do pumpkin spice.
Of course.
You have to. And so we're doing a pumpkin spice cheesecake latte. And I don't know if you've ever had Christine's cheesecakes before, but they're
Yes.
incredible. And so you get a big scoop of her like cheesecake in a ball thing.
Oh.
That's served with the pumpkin spice.
I'll meet you there after the show, Kelly.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I mean,
right?
her stuff
before
is
I go to
incredible.
Olivia, oh my, yeah, I know. Christine, I get Christine's cheesecakes for my kids' birthdays. Tanner's
Yeah.
is coming up, and
Yeah.
that's where we go.
Yep.
Because you
the best.
can't go wrong with Christine's.
That's right.
And
I
I,
don't know
think
how long she's been
when,
around.
when local businesses collaborate like that, it just helps everyone. And that's what he's doing. I mean, he's even collaborating with other local coffee shops to do this event. How many so
Yeah,
far
let's
are
mention
scheduled?
some of them that are working with you on this, because let's give them a shout out for pulling this together for everybody. I
Yeah,
do
no
have
kidding.
a list of some of them, but I could just run them by and make sure this is who they are.
Yeah.
Is Backwards Bread Company in on this?
They are.
Yeah. We've got cold press coffee from Cold Spring.
They are.
Of course, you, Kinder Coffee Lab here in St. Cloud. Corpy Coffee and Bake Shop, which is a fairly new one here
Yeah.
over by Sartell, correct?
Yep.
Overlander Coffee
Yep.
Company in St. Cloud. Reality
Reality Roasters, yep.
That's up in Little Falls.
Yep.
And then I have Second Street Coffee House in Sartell.
That's right.
Is that the whole bunch? I don't want to forget anybody.
So yeah, as this thing has kind of grown, there are a couple others that are probably going to be joining as well, and we're still kind of just figuring that out.
Yeah.
And then it looks like there's going to be a lot of people coming, so we're gonna try to bring in maybe a couple other food vendors as well, just to make
Why
sure that the
not?
people there have something to eat as well. So,
I think that's fun.
yeah.
Okay, so this is going from 8 to noon, not this week. We're talking September 24th, so you got plenty of time to plan.
plenty of time.
And it's
it's
happening-
free.
Yep.
There's
Oh,
no
it's free
admission
too?
charge.
Yeah.
You just can come and sample coffee. And
Oh, so
did you
much
say you're
fun.
having music also?
Yeah. We're gonna have Kathy English is gonna come and do live music with us and for us.
I think this is so much fun.
What
I
a
just-
great way to start a Saturday.
I know. And now, okay, so you're going to have different, like, you can have black coffee, but you can also have things like this super latte cheesecake extravaganza going on too.
Well, we won't be in our coffee shop. We'll actually be,
Okay. Like right outside, sort of
outside
across.
with everybody too. So we won't have the ability to actually make a latte that day.
Yeah, okay.
But Overlander is they're a big truck, and so they'll have lattes. They'll have the ability to do that.
They'll have the ability to. That's really neat. Okay.
And one of the other kind of fun things is we're going to do a bunch of education too. So sometimes as people are trying to learn about coffee, it can be a little daunting about like, well, what kind of grinder should I use? And do I need to use a scale? And what about some of the different brewing methods that I've heard about? And so we're going to have lots of classes every 15 minutes. We're going to have another class. And so you can come in and take a bunch of the classes and learn more about it. You could just go to the one that you're the most interested in, or you could, block it off for an hour and go through all of the different classes. And
Oh, I like that
Yeah.
idea because I think about that a lot. I'm like, how do you, I watch them make coffee in the coffee shop sometimes. I'm like, what are they doing over there?
Yeah.
That's a steamer or this is a cold press coffee machine. Why does this way of making coffee make a difference if you do it this way? Like,
that's right.
Guy has helped me up my coffee game. Because I had a meeting with him once, and I call it fancy coffee, but the way I watched him make it, and I was like, wow,
This is an art.
And so now I bought the cold brew beans from Kinder, and I have a pampered chef, cold brew maker. And I had people over to my house, and they were like, I text Guy. I'm like, I wowed my guests.
I wowed them. You know, and
great.
there's the thing, like, who knew that there's beans for cold press versus just, you know, make why, you know, you don't understand the difference till you go to a class and learn, right?
That's right. That's
How
exactly
did you
right.
get interested in coffee in the first place?
So I went
Did
to
you
college.
just stay up too late at night?
Yeah, you know, I went to college, and so you start. I've heard so many people have that same story, but you know, I just started drinking in college.
Yeah, because you had to study all night.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you put it off too long.
Well,
And then-
Guy is an entrepreneur. That's what we've been talking about. He has several businesses, and everything he does so well. And he's just an entrepreneur.
Thanks,
He's-
Wendy.
He is incredible.
So it was college. It was college.
Yeah, but then I worked in a coffee shop when I was like 22. I worked for a really neat coffee shop, like a local neighborhood coffee shop in Minneapolis that a friend of mine still owns and runs. And it's just a really neat place. And that's where I kind of fell in love, not with coffee, but with what coffee does and the culture that comes around coffee. The fact that you have, you know, I was a barista and I would see a car drive by and I knew who it was and I would start making their drink so that as they walked in.
Oh, man.
And so it's that kind of relationship that you get to build over time. And coffee is just a really neat kind of vehicle for that. And
Yeah.
that's why we named, the name of our coffee shop is Kinder. Coffee brings people together. And sometimes even the people that, you know, get brought together are unlikely connections.
Yeah. Oh, it's so great. So this is the very first ever coffee basically get together that we know of anyway in St. Cloud. And
Right.
we're hoping that this will be a huge turnout and
Yeah.
it'll be a yearly thing and just get bigger and bigger every year.
Anywhere. I mean, have you heard of it anywhere?
I have
haven't.
not. No.
And now you think, why not? You know, you hear cider and brewing, and you know, why not?
The three of us have talked about this before here in St. Cloud. You know, musicians. You've got musicians in the family that have named it themselves even after you. The musician crowd, the manufacturing crowd, the coffee crowd now, the brewing crowd.
Yeah,
This area, central Minnesota, comes together.
that's right.
They really do. So if you're somebody that's just new that has moved into this area, I love living here. I love living here because I love all the cultures. I love all the variety of things. And I love that you can actually start something and go out and say, you know what, I would like to talk to you about this. I know you do coffee. I love coffee. Can we talk about a collaboration? And people are willing to do it. It's better for everyone.
Yeah. Yep.
Really exciting.
And, you know, in the last few years, a lot of these coffee shops have started, you know, these other kind of local mom and pop coffee shops have started. And, you know, kind of whatever kind of side of central Minnesota you live on, there's that really neat option close to you. And so we want to see local coffee kind of elevated in St. Cloud. And that's our goal here.
I try to look at you, Guy, and figure how do you get all this stuff done in a day? What time do you get up in the morning?
And he's married and has kids. How many
Yeah.
kids do you have?
I have 2 kids.
You have 2 kids.
Yep.
Yeah, and he's just, I know, he's one of those
So
amazing
do you
people.
get up and roast coffee beans in the morning? Is it a nighttime activity? I mean, how do you get everything done?
We have an incredible team, a really, really, really incredible team. And so, like, I mean, it's staggering how little I do in comparison to all these incredible people that are, you know, doing all of this stuff. So,
All this wonderful stuff.
And you know, you hear all these businesses. We've had a common theme where people are struggling with staffing. And then you see an example like this where he just has an incredible team. Every time I go there, it's just like a day brightener because everyone's happy.
Yeah.
And
There is
and,
something
you know,
about wanting to work somewhere, right? Where you have a culture that screams, "Hey, come work for us," and you kind of seem to have that down.
I sure hope so. I mean, we really love our team and love the people that work with us and for us. And we're super, super thankful to have them.
If you're just joining us, we've got Guy here from Kinder Coffee Lab here in St. Cloud, having a great big Cloud Coffee Festival coming to St. Cloud September 24th. So a couple Saturdays from now, make sure that you get some rest. Don't drink any coffee the day before because you're going to want to drink all the coffee. 8 a.m. until noon. And you were also telling me later on that day that there's some other things going on that people can partake in.
So when we were looking at the date, we saw that there's a Bloody Mary festival that I think starts near when ours ends, maybe. I don't remember their
Perfect.
exact time, but it's just like what a fun little combo.
This sounds like a full Saturday event.
Yeah.
So where can people find information on this? Do you have a separate website for this?
Yeah,
or-
so you can go to cloudcoffeefest.com. Or
Perfect.
Kinder Coffee Lab as well.
Okay.
Yep.
And if you don't remember that, if you already have WJON.com, just go there. There's a link for this story about what's happening. It will link you to those websites that he's talking about. So anyway you get there, that's the important thing. But hopefully we'll all meet up and see each other Saturday, September 24th, 8 to noon at the Cloud Coffee Fest, taking place at Kinder Coffee Lab on Cooper Avenue in St. Cloud. Guy, thank you for making time for us today. It's
Thank
always
you.
so much fun to have you in the studio.
Yeah, I appreciate it very much.
And of course, you, Wendy. Of course, Wendy.
Almost every week after the show, I go through the Kinder drive-through.
I wish we should move this back to 11:40 so you can be here when I get done with work and we can go to these places together.
Right.
And I always tell people there is a drive-through, which is really nice.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh, a drive-through, or you can come in and just sit down.
You can.
Yeah. We got to try that pumpkin latte. And you tried that already?
I haven't. It just it was just launched.
I think yesterday.
Okay, it's a date. When is
Yes.
our date, Wendy? We talk about it all the time. It never happens until
Let's
we
do
see
it.
each other. Okay? I'm going to text you when I get done.
Okay.
Don't drink coffee without me today.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. We're
I'm
doing
pointing
it.
my finger at her. It's terrible. All right. Thank you both so much for being here.
Thank you.